Good evening. Today's date is February 24th, 2020. If you've been coming to my YouTube channel, you've been seeing a lot of great videos and about buses and other things, about me being on buses, another thing on buses, traveling buses, walking around. For the last couple of years, you have noticed a change in my videos. They have taken on a new flavor because I am dealing with vision loss right now, which I have been coping with for the last about 2.5 years now. It really started getting really bad in the summer of 2017 when my vision started to go out slightly. I was noticing that I was not focusing as well and not judging as well on distances. And subsequently, there was not as much contrast between the lights and darks. I wasn't noticing, like, things were not distinct as much. Then by about October of 2017, I started having blurred vision, like was blurring on the bottom third of my field of vision. It was becoming all fogged, and it was harder to see my print watch that I was wearing at the time. And so I was basically started noticing loss of vision. So I went to an eye specialist, an eye doctor, just a regular optometrist, who looked and sent me to an ophthalmologist in November. And it was Dr. Bako here in St. Catharines where I started going. And he checked in November, couldn't tell, and had me come back in January of 2018. It was January of 2018, where he determined that I would have swelling of the cornea, which would later be determined to be keratoconus. I think that is Keratoconus, and that is basically where the cornea is, instead of a flat, it becomes bulged and into a cone shape, thus causing things to appear blurry and obstruction views. So I've been dealing with that, and last year I was to go for eye surgery, and then it was originally scheduled April 4th of 2019. April the 1st of 2019. Then it was postponed to June the 3rd, and eventually June 27th, and eventually July 24th when it finally took place. It ended up, however, being the cataract that was removed, and that was also a minor problem, but it was the cornea that was supposed to be dealt with but wasn't. It was the cataract that was removed instead of the cornea. Ultimately, it did not have any bearing on my vision. Through a different regime of drops and like a regiment of drops and such, there was a lot of inflammation afterwards. And so I returned to Dr. Bako, and he was not pleased with the result of the doctors, the specialists in Toronto at the Kensington Eye Institute and Prism Eye Institute. It was a doctor at the Prism Eye Institute it was Mississauga, now it would later move to Oakville. And so it was a doctor there that did it, and there was the Prism Eye Institute, the Kensington Eye Institute in downtown Toronto, where they had 3 different specialists check. And they all between the 3 of them, they ultimately decided on the cataract rather than than dealing with the cornea like they were supposed to. So subsequently, I'm still dealing with poor vision, and it varies. It does not stay consistent. What it does, it's like everything's really blurred, everything's white, it's a really white, really thick haze at times. Sometimes the haze is orange, other times it's been blue, and there's been like a black band going across it, and sometimes it's white, or sometimes it's red and white at the bottom, or white in the bottom and red at the top, and vice versa. And sometimes there's blobs of usually orange or yellow. It's been mostly orange lately, but there's been sometimes it's been green and blue. And so those are mainly, and sometimes it's been kind of a yellow or kind of a peach color, or depending. And sometimes a pastel green, it just depends. And I've been having sparkle, like blue sparkles, pink haze, different splotches, and other things happening as well. Everything like in broad daylight, the sun would be out, it would be like a full moon at night. And right now, of course, as I'm standing right now, and of course I can't really tell where the camera is. I can kind of see where there's lights on, and I know there's to put the ceiling light on. But I think I have the camera, hopefully it's centered, and my apologies if it's not. This is a Flip Minnow HD that I've been using for years. And I'm sort of standing, having the curtain backdrop here. And hopefully it's okay. I think I've got it centered enough. And but of course I can't tell. So I mean the main thing is talking, and as long as you can see my face and it doesn't, if it's not exactly center, well, you know, the main thing is I convey the information. Unfortunately, I don't have any video simulation to, well, actually I could, but I'm not really accurate, so I'm not going to do it in this particular video. I might do it in the future if I maybe find something. But imagine, if you will, right now, for example, the plastic, you know, if you have a plastic milk jug, and of course an empty milk jug, and of course it's that kind of opaque white, and you put that in front of your eye, and of course my right eye has never functioned normally. I have a prosthetic right eye in there now. So with that, that is, it is sometimes, and sometimes, as I said, the color, it has varying colors, and so it's kind of unnerving and frustrating. And the doctor says that it's the brain trying to process the lack of vision, but I'm supposed to have a cornea at some point, dealing with a cornea transplant. So hopefully this can get changed, or at least somewhat of an improvement. And so experiencing vision loss, it feels, you know, it's frustrating. I do try to manage. I have a cane. I walk as you have seen in previous some of the videos, just in the area. I still try to use the camera pointing, just because I do sort of know to hold the camera up in front of me towards, or out to, if I'm sitting at a bus window. Of course I can't do any exploring right now, and so it's kind of frustrating. But videos, I'll still try to do some videos. There may be more talking videos, just similar to this, where I'm just standing talking about, or sitting or talking, whatever, about varying topics. And there'll be still some walking around, or I'll try to walk around, and especially if there is improvements to my vision, I hope I can get back to somewhat back to normal, and then I can start editing videos. Now the pizza video I did where heating up pizza in the feeding a frozen pizza for supper, that was about a month ago from today's date. Actually is, because I think it was, no, January 20, I think it was around, well, it was about a month ago I did that video on my iPhone, and was able to piece together, using the voiceover accessible technology on the phone, to trim the clips down where it's the speech at the beginning of the end, and be able to bring it into iMovie and let them go together. Of course I couldn't do any of the effects or any titles or anything like that. So it's going to be very basic and scaled back for now, until such time, if my vision does improve, I don't know. But I'm still hoping to keep doing videos as best I can. So, as I said, that's basically my vision loss experience, and so these videos, the next, at least for the time being, as of this recording date, will be, you know, dealing with low vision. And of course I'll be still try to hold the camera with one hand, and still try to wing things as best I can, just try to wing it with stuff. So if it's not exactly in focus or off, you know, that's not intentional, it's just because of my lack of vision, and I'm by myself. And so fortunately this camera is easy to operate. The record button is a depression, so there's I can't do zooming right now, because this camera just has like lighted buttons, like it's just like a touch. I mean, you kind of can, but you know, because you can't see what it's doing, you don't know what the result is. So what you see is what you get right now. So just be starting and stopping, and if I do clips, like clip videos where there's multiple clips, it will be done on the iPhone. And of course probably a little lower resolution. This is going to be of course HD with using the Flip Minnow HD. So alright, there you have it with my vision loss. I've been planning on doing this for some time. So thanks everyone for watching or listening and whatever else. And take care.